In this segment, I'm going to talk about one of the key components of the Envision Tomorrow Plus tool, the building prototypes, or often called the return on investment tool or model. The prototype builder or building prototype is an easy-to-use tool that helps users to test the physical and financial feasibility of the proposed development by using a range of factors. So let's look at these, the building prototype library first of all, and then let's also look at where we input the factors. So on my screen, as you can see, I have quite a few Excel spreadsheets. And what we have tried to do is come up with a building to represent each type of building that a developer could build. So let's decode some of these names. So this building on top would stand for mixed use residential 30-story owner building. For instance, this building right here would be a residential 5-story rental building. We also have building development prototypes for cottage homes, townhomes, large lot single family, all the way down to heavy industrial. We try to think of a building prototype that would represent any sort of building that you would build in your city or town. Let's go ahead and open one of these spreadsheets and look at where we input those factors. So I am on the Physical Inputs tab, and what I'm looking at specifically are these cells in the pink. And these are where you input the assumptions that go into your building prototypes. So for instance, right here on site area, we would enter the size of the lot in square feet that we are testing. We could enter the gross to net land ratio. If we had open space requirements or landscaping, we would enter them here. We would enter the height of the building in stories right here. And going down the list, we could choose here if it was a renter or owner building. We could choose here if it was a multifamily or single family or townhome, etc. We'll leave this one on multifamily since it's a garden apartment. And we're going to dedicate the entire building, 100% of it, to residential use. We could also, if we wanted to do a mixed-use building, we could add some retail, or maybe there's even a little office space in there. But they do need to add up to 100%. All of the building uses need to add up to 100%. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one at 100% residential and move on down. And we also are going to look at the unit size for residential, retail, and an office. So what I've got plugged in here, and this is an average number. Of course, some are bigger and some are smaller, but I'm looking at about 1,000 square feet on average. I'm looking at about 1,200 square feet per employee for retail. But you can change all these assumptions, and that's what you need to do. You need to fine-tune these buildings so that they reflect what's in your community. To fine-tune them, what I've done in the past is had interviews with developers. We also look at parking requirements. So this is parking spaces per dwelling unit or 1,000 square foot of commercial. So you can see that I've got a one parking space plugged in per dwelling unit. That might be a little high, it might be a little low, but you can surely change that to meet your community's needs. I'm also looking at parking type. I would enter 1 here if it was just a regular surface parking lot. If it was internal parking, sandwich type parking, or tuck under, I could add the number of levels right there. If it was underground parking, we could also add the number of levels right here. We also have the option to look at our parking layout. I've chosen urban perpendicular for this one, and you can see there are some graphics that represent the styles, the parking layout styles down below. So those are the key assumptions that you would need to add for the physical inputs. Now I'm going to look at one more tab called the Basic Financial tab. And what I would go in, again, I'm looking at the pink cells, and I would add right here my construction cost per square foot. Now this is for core shell and improvements, does not include land. So I'm going to plug in $90 here for construction costs. Now if I had retail or office or industrial, I could plug those in these cells. My site cost or my land, I plugged in right here at $100,000. And I'm also looking at rent per square foot. In residential, I've plugged in $1 per square foot. We could also plug in retail, office, industrial, so forth in our rents per square foot right here. We have sales prices per square foot. We've chosen this as a rental building, but if it was an owner building, we could put in I've chosen $165 a square foot. That's where you'd plug that in here. You also need to plug in parking costs. Now, in our building prototype library, we've got national averages. We've got 3,000 for surface, 20,000 for structured, 55,000 for underground, etc. But you can absolutely fine-tune these to what you're finding in your community. So those are the basics of the inputs for the building prototype library. I wouldn't be too intimidated by all of the tabs in this spreadsheet. While you're getting used to the model, I would primarily look at the physical inputs and the basic financial tabs and get as much information as you can for those pink cells. Thank you.